Hi guys, this is Luca Angeli from Art Based Company, today with the great Richard Bona. I have opportunity to ask him some questions. I apologize for my pronunciation, but I'm working on it. Thanks for your kindness.
Thank you very much.
So let's start with the first question. So in your first album, Scenes from My Life, was released in August 1999,
Yeah.
since 70 years ago. In that album you talk about real stories, such a friend in prison and the loss of your father and universal facts. From that first album to date and to Heritage, the last album, how has your life changed? How does all this influence your music?
Well, my life never really changed. You know, I'm still the same musician that I was back then, but probably in a different place. I would say, you know, back then I used to play small clubs all the time, but now I get to play, you know, bigger venues. So you know, back then I used to sell less albums, but I sell more records today. Those are the changes that are there, you know. But myself, that never really changed me. I'm still playing music the same. I still have that passion of playing music all the time, even bigger now, because now I get a bigger reach, you know. So I still love music so much. I play music all the time, and that's my only passion. I have no other things that I love like music, and and I came to realize through the music the powerful message that we have into the music, that maybe music is using us as messengers.
Okay.
And that when I was younger, I wasn't focusing to that message, you know. So it's important today to realize that it's good to play music, but music is we are messengers of peace, playing music in this world, you know, and we have to use that force, that energy, and transcend it to the people, because it's contagious to, you know.
It's not easy to bring this message today.
It's not easy, but when you're a fighter, we have to still fighting. We're messengers of peace. We go and fight for it, and we're gonna reach people, and we're reaching out to people. Because I tell you, in Rotterdam, the first concert of this tour, I'm gonna tell you a short story. Every time I played in Holland, I used to see this old lady. She comes to all my concerts in Holland. And I was always surprised. I'm like, wow, this lady, she's like 75 years old. She comes to my concert all the time. You know, you kind of go like, okay. It's hard to relate myself to, you know, but and then again, that's art. How do you know? And every time she came to me when I went, because I always go and meet fans and sign autographs, she always told me, you know, thank you for making my life better. And I have a beautiful story to tell you, but I will never tell you that story until the person who's entitled to tell you that story comes and tells you the story. So I was always like, okay, this sounds so. So this lady had a daughter. She actually had a daughter who fell from a horse. She fell, you know, riding a horse, and she got paralyzed. She's paralyzed, not speaking, staying in the bed. And one day, she get my second album called Reverence. And she's in the kitchen. That's where she always put her CD. And she played the CD, and she heard the noise out of her daughter's room. And she thought somebody was there. And she got in there. The glass was on the floor. It means she moved. She made the first movement right there.
During
listening to the music. And she kept playing the music. She kept playing the music all the time. And that girl came to see me at the concert, just my last concert. The girl who was paralyzed. She is a yoga teacher now.
Wow.
She is a yoga teacher. What do you want to tell this girl? She told me, you remember that lady? I said, yes. That's my mother. And she told me the whole story. Wow. So that's it. So this makes me, when I go back to my room, I'm like, you know what? We actually have a purpose. I know it's hard, It's difficult, but if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yes, yes. Your professional career began at 11 years old, so young. The owner of your hotel you work in at the collection of 500 LPs. And for the case you extract the first portrait of Tracy by Jaco. And from then you start to playing bass. We may think that if, for instance, you had taken On the Corner by Miles Davis or Return to Forever by Chick Corea, today you'd probably be a trumpet or a piano virtuoso.
Probably, maybe, I don't know. What I know is I picked the first album I picked out of those 500 LPs. I picked the first one that I picked was Jaco Pastorius. And I became a bass player. Probably if I picked Miles Davis back then, who knows, maybe I would be a trumpet player today. But one thing for sure, music already being in my system. So when you're a kid, you just open to all my, especially me as a kid, you know, I play organ, I play balafon, I play guitar. I was always like, I want to play everything. I want to play or touch everything. So probably if that was Mars, then maybe who knows? Or
you built your first balafon at 5 years?
My first balafon was built by my grandfather. I was 3, and then I built mine too when I was 5. But I built my first guitar when I was 7. You know, but I never built an amp.
Good. Your music career is not made only of an immense natural talent, but of a great deal of study. How important is the study of music and the instrument, and how much time do you spend on studying today?
Studying, the best study was I always tell people, you know, the best teacher in every platform of could be music or anything else. The best teacher is yourself. Because I came to understand one thing, and I always say it all the time: excellence comes from repetition. You want to be good at doing something? Do it all the time. Repeat again. You may fall 10 times, stand up again, do it again. Do it all the time. And that's what I did all the time. And when I watch, you know, some of, you know, one of, I always name him because he's one of my favorite, was one of the greatest soccer players that ever played a game, Ronaldinho, was a good friend of mine. When I watch him, I understood that excellence is repetition. He repeat the same movement all the time. Repeat it again, repeat it again, repeat it again. So when you see him playing, doing that, you go, oh, what a genius. No.
Work. Art.
Work.
Art.
So it's important to notify everybody who's good. Everybody that I came across, guys like Mike Brecker, guys like Mike Stern, Josiah, you know what they do? They play all the time. If they didn't play, they wouldn't be that good.
Good. Can you identify a turning point when your career really took off?
When my career took off, I know people always ask me, when did your career really took off? But people forget. For me, to me, I mean, people think it's when I started to play with known people like Harry Belafonte, when I started. But as a kid already, to me, when I was a kid, I was 5 years old, people were walking from villages to come see me play Sunday. So for me, I was already like a Michael Jackson. In my village, you know, I was already a superstar when I was a kid, you know, and I acted like a superstar back then. Man, I was just like, you know what, I don't want these. No, since it took off what we call career, I hate to say career because really, as when I moved to New York.
Ah, okay.
As when I arrived in New York. A week after I arrived in New York, Josiah took me on road. 2 weeks after, I was Harry Belafonte musical director, and boom, 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 just in 1 month. And I went to New York I told my sister, I'm going to New York for 2 weeks, you know, and then come back to France. And I never went back. I'm still waiting. I never use my return ticket.
Good. Your career has given you the chance to meet and play with the great musicians, like, as you say, Joe Zawinul, Pat Metini, Randy Brecker, Steve Gadd, Bob McFerrin, just to name a few. Is there a particular episode that will always be imprinted in your mind? A funny episode?
To me, I've been so lucky playing with all these great musicians. And the good thing about music, I always think music is a school that never ends. And it's a beautiful thing. We're so lucky doing something that I always feel like the more I know, the less I know. The more I go and know, and I find out that I know nothing. Therefore, I know that I don't know. And I love to feel like I'm climbing all the time. You know what I mean? That's the feeling that I want to have all the time. I want to feel like I'm climbing all the time. Because what's the purpose of being on the top? I don't want to be on top. Because once you're on top, the only place left to go
is down.
I don't want to go down. So I want to keep climbing and climbing and climbing and learn all the time. You know, and music is beautiful everywhere. If you open really your heart and open your mind, and remember, people that will teach you the most in life, people that teach you the most, are people that are different than you. I'll give you an example. When I grew up in my village as a kid, I grew up in a small village. When it comes time to eat, we put the plate in the middle, everybody wash their hands, and we all eat in the same in the same pot, right? Everybody eat like this with the hand. So if I met a Japanese guy one day, he would say, "Oh, Richard, I'm gonna teach you how we eat here." He's gonna show me how to hold the chopsticks, right? Okay. I see a European guy, I don't know, and hey, Richard, let me teach you how to eat with a knife and a fork and stuff. That's how goes life and music too. So open yourself and embrace the difference. And the more you embrace the difference, once you embrace the difference, you almost embrace the tolerance.
Okay.
When you pass that step, life will always be a school to you, because you want to learn more and more.
So can we say that meeting and travel are key terms for your music?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Meeting other peoples and traveling, and you have no better school. People learn that thing in the geography in school. I just get a chance to go there, experience the place right there. Touch the Black Sea and go jump in the thing. Why they call this a Black Sea? While somebody's just learning about Black Sea, reading it, I'm like, you gotta go and see the real sand. How did you actually see that? The sand's actually a dark. It's actually a real dark sea, like they call the Red Sea in Israel or so. When you get there, you actually realize that it's actually red. You know?
Yeah, wonderful. But Quincy Jones has called you the most talented dude on this planet. How do you stay quiet and humble after such a compliment, Quincy Jones?
I don't know. He's the most talented. He's the most talented. I mean, I appreciate the comment, but where's gonna be talented more than Quincy? You know, this is like I don't know. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Even at 83 years old, I don't even imagine a musician in the future being like this guy, even having a mind. When you ask a question to Quincy, when you ask any question to Quincy, when he gives you an answer, his answers always sound like somebody went and think about 100 years and then gave you an answer. He already had everything all round up. When you think about the answer he gives you about something, you go like, man, how did he get that? But he gives you like this, just like that. So some people just happen to have that. I don't know how to call it. I don't know. I can't put a name on it because it would be too easy to just call it you know, musical talent or
Gifted.
business. Yeah, it's a gift. Some people just have it, and some people don't have it. And Quincy's got that. So talking about talent, he's probably the most talented dude in the planet, the real one.
Science a lot of years.
Yeah. And I tell you, there's no coincidence. You know, if this guy's where he is, there's no coincidence. You know, I'm telling you, and I get a chance to talk to him. You know, and because I'm curious, like I told you, I'm a real student in life in general. I want to learn. Always want to learn more, know things, understand all the things. So with Quincy, I always trying to understand things, spending time with him when I'm in the studio, ask even some twist question. I'm like, but he always gives you like right there. When I get back to my room, I'm like, wow, all right, this guy got it together. So that's who Quincy Jones is, and that's why he's Quincy Jones too.
Well, in Heritage you met Mandekan Cubano, a band with which you have a unique musical synergy, creating a record that really melts your African roots with Cuban salsa. Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah. Just like I did in the past, you know, I did a record in Brazil, like I traveled, went to India, and this time I'm doing this Cuban project. What we call Afro-Cuban today, this music is 5 centuries old, you know. My purpose also in music is to educate people, you know, because sometimes people don't know. To tell people about this music. This music we call Afro-Cuban is world heritage, I will call it. It's a combination, a very, very complicated combination from Spanish that came there. And Spanish back then was singing religious. They're religious and nationalistic songs back then. And when you mix to that, the African slave that came from Africa, Chinese slaves, yeah, people don't talk about them, but they were Chinese slaves to an island.
I don't know.
And also a group of people forget, before the Spanish got into the island, there were people living there. They don't talk about the natives, the Indian natives living in the island. They play music too. So for me, I don't need to read a history book. Through music, there are 2 things. My grandfather always told me, watch how they play music and see what they eat. So when you look at the instrumentation of what we call Afro-Cuban, the piano, you know the piano comes from Europe. You look at the trumpet, you know the trumpet's coming from Europe. When you see the congas and bongos and things, the hand drums, there's an African background. When you see the maraca, it's not African, it's not European, it's Indian. So that now, when you look at the music and listen carefully, you start to retrace actually whoever brought what and understand what made this music, what made whatever we call Afro-Cuban. So it's a combination of a lot of things. That's why I call this record heritage, which I think is a world heritage, you know. Wow. And also, despite, you see, this happened, these people were already mixing things together in a moment where it was a difficult moment in the history. We're talking of very, you know, during slavery and it was a difficult moment. But these people find a way of creating something that we're using today. So I tell people that today we're living in a way better condition than back then. And we're way more divided. They're trying to divide us. But they're not different. There are more things that we have together than the differences that they're trying to show us. Actually, we're not really different at the end of the day. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a big difference between a European and an African or Asian or whatever. You know, I really don't see a difference personally and through the music, like I said, I always embrace the difference because that's where I get to learn a lot. And if I want to be the student that I am, then I will have to embrace it no matter what happens.
Perfect. Wow. In in your songs, you always sing in your native language, the Douala.
Yeah.
Okay. Emphasizing your close connection to your native land, Cameroon. Okay. This is allowed you create a unique style. Have you ever thought that singing in your native language could be a limit to your musical career?
That's what I heard when I started to make when I got signed by Columbia in New York, and comes time to do my first album. And I started to do it, and the two guys came in the studio. They said, "What, you singing in
Douala,
in your language? Or, you know, you can do that, you know, whatever, you know." But I told them I have to do it, and they convinced me. They told me this will never sell, because not a lot of people speak this language. They even went and got me a list of a song that I have to do. They got me a coach, an English coach. They got me somebody for the pronunciation and all those things. But you know what? I know this is not what I want to do. And when I don't want to do something, that's the person I am.
right?
I don't care if I have 10 coaches and all these people dressing. I even have somebody who came to shave me because he thinks I have too much hair here. They shave me, all this thing to look good on the picture. And I look at my picture after with the makeups and all this. I didn't even recognize myself. I look at the picture. I'm like, man, this doesn't look like me. So I just told them, listen, no, I don't want to do it. I will sing in the language that I want to sing. I will play the music that I want to play. And I told them, listen, I've been doing this for a very long time. And people came to see me.
This is the right way.
It doesn't matter where I'm playing, people will come. I told them. And I remember Jeff Jones telling me, you will never be on a bigger platform. And when I got nominated to Grammy, I sent him an email. I said, you see, I'm at the Grammy, but I'm still singing in that language, yeah? So, you know, so when you believe in something, just do it the way, you know. Because if you do it the other way, if you're not happy, because it comes down to that. It's all about happiness. You can make less. If you're happy, you're okay. I've seen so many people with a lot, unhappy, that, you know, I'm not going all the way around, you know. So, yeah, I know sometimes people go, yeah, but music already has its own language. Music has its own language. When I heard Stevie Wonder the first time, I didn't speak English. Man, I don't care what this guy is singing, but it sounds good. That's it. Do I need to I don't need to understand. Give me the thing. I'm gonna just sing it like that. That's it. So, music already has its own language. People think you have to go and sing like, we have the lyrics. No. Music has its own. You dance all the songs. You dance something that you love. You don't know the lyrics, point by point, but it touches you. Yeah. That's what matters to me. You know, when I go to Japan, people cannot sing a douala to me. Yesterday I was in Czech Republic. Do you think they really know? I could be there telling people, man, I don't like you. I don't like you. They're like, yeah, you know. But it's not what's important is, you know, the heart. They get touched by something, and I think I have that gift. I have to admit, you know, I don't really, but I think I have that gift from as a kid already. Like I told you, man, I was 5 years old. Every Sunday, you knew people were walking kilometers to come see me play. So, and in my village there, people spoke. You're talking about languages? Where I grew up, I walked 5-6 kilometers. I can't understand what these people are talking about anymore. But they still come and see me play every Sunday. What makes them come see me play if they don't understand my language? And these people at the record company are always trying to school us about music, but they forget. I was playing music. They were walking with Pampers. You see?
Yeah.
You go to a record company to this your young guy, 25 years old, trying to tell me this is what you should do. I say, no, you're not going to tell me what I should do. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do.
Wow. What is your relationship with Italy? So you travel around the world, but with Italy and with the Mac-based company, with Marco, with your Italian fans.
I'm going to start with my Italians, what connection, if we could call. I actually kind of grew up a little bit in Italy too, because I lived in Terni, I lived in Parma.
I don't know.
Now you know. Come on, man. Sono in italiano too, man. Attention, be careful. You know, I'm gonna tell you a short story. I am in Paris. 20 years old kid, you know, just playing around. You know, I had this gig, solo gig. It wasn't a good gig. Every Thursday, you know, I go there. It was boring, but always playing. Always like playing. I didn't care. There was nobody there, but I always played. And I see this couple comes. This Italian guy comes to me. He sat there, you know, listened to me. He comes to me, he said, I am going to make you a superstar. Oh, so Italian, you know. I look at the guy, I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, yeah, you know. I hear that since I'm a kid. Everybody, oh man, the kid is so talented. We gotta take him to France, we gotta tell him this. And this Italian guy actually comes to me, he's like, I am going to make you a superstar. I'm like, yeah. Guess what? A week after, he sent me a flight of airline ticket to come to Parma.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe this is a moment. I went to Parma. I had a beautiful house and a studio.
How long did you stay?
I was here for 7 months in Italy.
Huh.
I was here, but the guy was not a good producer. But man, beautiful life. So that's how my first time out. Wow, Italy, the food and people, you know, and everything else. You know, it's just that. So I know the country already. I was already connected with the country, you know, and I started to work a little bit here with some artists. But that's how I had a chance to meet people like Stefano Di Battista, Flavio Boltro, but you know, Antonello Salis, all this group of musicians back then that I had a chance to meet because of my staying in Italy. Fabio Forte, trombone player, so many musicians. That's how I met, you know, this connection of a lot of Italian musicians that are actually excellent musicians today. But I knew these guys already where we were all like fighters back then. And later on comes Marco in the picture now. But now I'm in the United States, you know. Mm-hmm. And I tried the first Marco amp at Fodera. Was my bass endorser. And they had this little Mark, mm-hmm. the original one there. And I wasn't the one playing, I'm sorry. One guy at Fodera's office, Vadim, he's from Ukraine.
Vadim.
Yeah, he works in you know, he's trying this amp, and I hear the tone, you know. One thing I have good is my ears. I heard the tone. I was in the other room. I heard the tone, and I asked Joey, say, which amp is this? Mm-hmm. Oh, and he tells me, oh, it's Mark bass. And I went there, Vadim was playing, and I took it to play. And I hear a few notes right there. I knew we were in trouble.
And the love.
Beautiful. Start. And the love, the sound and everything, the warmth, and before even I knew Marco. And already, I was already kind of in touch with the product itself, you see. So, and then later on, we got in touch with Marco, and we made it happen. And now we have a line of a series of Ninja product, which is working great, and I can't be more happy than I am today. You know, it's beautiful, and as someone you come to and a human level also. You get a chance, because you know we have all this music and business, all this thing going on, but it's important to me. I function more with I function a lot with my heart too, so I listen to my heart a lot, even if people think sometimes we are all touring and doing this, but I feel people, and Marco is one of those special guys out there, and he's a musician too.
I agree. Yeah.
I have to say, he's a musician. That changed. I was telling him about Mario about it's always different when you ever play music. Anything you would do in the future, anything you could do in the future, anything you will embrace, once you touch music, you're a different kind of an animal.
Yeah. I know.
Once you played music, you're different. Even if you become a fisherman, you'll be a different fisherman. Because the brain is like this. Once you play music, the part of the brain that you use, that a lot of people don't get to use. And using harmonies and make the melody fit with that harmony. It's a different thing. Like they give us troubles at the airport, for example. I had a discussion once with the lady at the airline. She tells me, oh, you have to take the string out of the bass because you could strangle somebody with the bass string. I said, okay. When was the last time a musician ever went to war?
No.
We don't go to war. You will never hear about it. We have a lot of egos. We talk all this shit. We have all this thing because we like kids. We're like kids walking in the kindergarten. We do all these little things. But we would never go and kill somebody. Once you play music, you're a different person. You will never do certain things again. That's why I'm not even strangle somebody. Please, I want to play music, okay? So they pull some of the stuff to you as a musician. No, we don't do that. Take the strings out, but we don't do it. And if I want to strangle somebody, I have a belt here. I have a belt. I have my hands. What do I need a bass string for? No, but to close this, I think it's a beautiful, and I feel lucky. Really, I had a chance to meet Marco, and I could develop and some of my ideas and have a really a beautiful collaboration here with him, and into developing something that could be useful for musicians, and that's what is important, and like I said, he's open, he wants to learn a lot. I want to learn, sky is the limit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So thanks again for your kindness.
Grazie mille.
Grazie a te.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Your English is good. Are you kidding me?